Well, there are signs of the left's love of violence apparent again. It's really never been far away. We saw it with the BLM riots, the violent anti-Israel protests on university campuses, and the latest project seems to be attacking Tesla cars, Tesla dealerships, due to their hatred of Elon Musk. And Douglas, I've got to say, those who should know better continue to rationalise what some are calling domestic terrorism.
Someone threw a Molotov cocktail at a Tesla service center. At least 5 Teslas blew up. When you pull out a chainsaw to celebrate firing thousands of people, they get mad. It's just that,
Let's send these techno-fascist, broligarchs, and old-fashioned Nazis a message loud and clear.
The vandalism really shows the outright anger and rage that people are feeling about what Elon Musk is doing.
Douglas, they almost hate Elon Musk more than they hate Donald Trump these days. And this derangement, because it's not just disagreement, they want to see him destroyed.
They do. It's a rather strange turn for people from a political wing that talks about how much they love the environment so much and how they want to protect the environment to be setting light to anything and burning it down, setting light to cars that run on renewable energy. That's a really great way to say I heart the environment, isn't it? But yes, I mean any political side can do this, but it's extremely dangerous stuff when you start to say like that. Well, if you cut federal spending, you can't expect people not to firebomb things. I mean, really? We're going there? Why this desire to legitimize totally pointless, destructive political violence? I can only assume that some of these people are people who are very bored, as well as very unpleasant indeed. They want a great cause. They spent years, as I said earlier, saying that Donald Trump was Hitler. Now they've decided, in fact, Elon Musk is Hitler, which means you've got to burn the cars or something, or flip the finger to people driving a certain type of car. Again, nothing shows moderation and be kind better than just swearing at your neighbors because they've got a car whose company is founded by a man whose political views you disagree with. I mean, it's astonishing, but again, this is deadly. This is kryptonite for the Democrat Party. And for people like that guy who you showed at the beginning of that clip, he's meant to be, by the way, a late-night comedian. I don't know about you, but I mean, nothing he said or says is remotely funny. He's just one of these weird new clerics who appear on American television who were hired as comedians and then come out and give a boring lecture and excuse violence and think that will get them the big laughs. And we'll see. And that's one of the reasons why people are turning off those programs. But it's quite sickening to see that, because if Republicans did that and said, well, you can only push people so far before they start executing you, I think we'd all think that was a bit rum.
I think we would. I think that we would. We saw a riot on January 6th and they were bleating about it for 5 years. So if, but violence from their side, they seem to rationalise very easily. And you're right about those late night comics. There's a reason why their ratings are in the toilet is because there's very few laughs. There's just lectures, and Greg Gutfeld is the big beneficiary there. Now, talking about celebrities, we've seen a number of them threaten to leave the US if Trump won. And one of them, I've got to give her credit, she followed through with it. Rosie O'Donnell is now a resident of Ireland, and she started spreading election denial there.
I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state and is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet. So I would hope that would be investigated. Kamala Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her, and Donald Trump was not able to do that.
There you go, Douglas. Elon apparently owns and runs the internet now, and Kamala was hugely popular, so we need an investigation.
Yes, that's right. And one of the ways you can tell that Elon Musk runs all of the internet is that there are never any negative pieces or a negative comment about Elon Musk on the internet. So, as ever, Rosie O'Donnell is as sharp tacked as she ever was. Remember, this is another comedian, by the way. Remember, Rosie O'Donnell. She's hilarious, isn't she? I mean, you can just feel your face cracking up with the humor whenever Rosie appears and opines on the world. As for Donald Trump not filling up stadiums, I mean, that's just bizarre because, of course, I mean, I've been to Trump rallies. He very much fills up stadiums, very much filled up Madison Square Garden in New York and countless other places across the country. Here's one of the problems, of course, for the Democrats. Again, they can be pulled leftward by these now self-exiled comedians like Rosie O'Donnell, who, by the way, probably is having a kind of breakdown because Donald Trump was very largely elected in 2016, very largely won the Republican nomination to run for president because of his line about Rosie O'Donnell, which just got huge laughs and was hugely appreciated by people across the country. But Rosie O'Donnell and co., if they're going to do this stuff, what it really is a demonstration of denial. What the Democrats and others should face up to is that Donald Trump was and is extremely popular. He won the popular vote because he's popular. He filled up stadiums because he's popular. Sure, Kamala Harris could fill the odd hall. No one is disputing that. But if you've just lost an election to somebody, you don't pretend, or you shouldn't pretend, that that person has no popularity behind him. What you should do is work out why he's got it, see what you can do to adapt to the world that you're in, and see what you can learn. See if there are policies that you might learn from. Instead of claiming that he's like faked his way to it, actually adapt and learn. And so, yes, I'm not sure Rosie O'Donnell's going to be able to teach the Democrats very much from her escape in Ireland. And by the way that Ireland's going at the moment, it's perfectly possible that Rosie O'Donnell will have to move back to the States at some point soon, but that's another story.
Well, she is in a very insular little echo chamber because in that interview, it appeared that she doesn't actually know any Trump voters. So even though more than half the country, half of voters voted for Trump, she doesn't seem to know a single one. So that's Rosie for you. Before you go, just quickly, you wrote a superb piece for The Spectator about the latest attacks against Western civilization. And here we've got Britons being expected to be ashamed of their history, ashamed of things they should be enormously proud of, like Shakespeare. Even Shakespeare's birthplace supposedly should be decolonised, Douglas, because it could be used to promote white supremacy.
Yes, this is the latest report by a dimwit second-rate academic at a third-rate university who, weirdly, cooperating with the Shakespeare Birthplace Trust. And you would have thought the Shakespeare Birthplace Trust would like to celebrate Shakespeare's birthplace, but oh no. No, not in this era. So this second-rate academic cooperated with the Shakespeare Birthplace Trust, and she has come to the conclusion that Shakespeare's racist and colonialist, or maybe even caused the colonial era himself. It's unclear. And also that Stratford-upon-Avon is a notorious meeting place of white supremacists. And it's always struck me, Rita, as I'm sure it has you, that whatever remaining skinheads there might be, they're forever gathering at places of poetry like Stratford-upon-Avon and reading sonnets. It's one of the things I think it's one of the ways you spot them, those guys. It's so preposterous. And by the way, the important thing about this is that, as I said in that piece in Spectator, it points to this central issue that we are being told in our countries, in America, in Britain, in Australia, in all the Western countries, we are being told all the time to be ashamed of our inheritance. And there's no reason to be ashamed of our inheritance. But what's weird about it is that we are being told it all the time, and it's always a one-way street. This business with Shakespeare's birthplace, they've decided that one of the things is there's too much Shakespeare at Shakespeare's birthplace. And they've decided, among other things, to introduce more of a celebrated Bengali poet called Tagore. Now, if I went to Tagore's birthplace in Bengal and said, guys, you need some more Shakespeare here. It's really not on that you haven't got another poet that you're celebrating at the birthplace of this poet. I think people would think it was rather audacious. Well, guess what? We in England, we in Britain also think it's rather audacious. It's rude. And to use a term, it's rather colonizing.
Indeed. Douglas Murray, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Pleasure as always.